Hello everybody, my name is NCeegs, and today I'm going to be breaking down the CWL Call of Duty Championships 2018 pools for you guys. This will be the second episode. I will not be numbering these, but this is the second episode I'm doing of my recent series, The Breakdown, which is essentially gaming topics that I go in depth about. Last episode was attacking the beach invasion for Operation Neptune on the War Game mode. And today, whoa, that's crazy. My keyboard actually does something. Wow. Today like I said, we are going to be doing the CWL COD Champs pools A through, I believe, H. Yeah, A through H. And you're probably wondering why am I watching bots play a hard point? And it's because if you know anything about doing videos, doing topics like these, like where I'm going to be going in depth about something, you know that doing them while playing, while being engaged into a game is very difficult. It's something that I'm not bad at. I've done it before, and I feel like I've done it pretty well. But this is something I'm going to be looking at my phone for. I'm looking at rosters, and I just don't want to put my controller down, while I'm in the middle of a game, because it's just annoying. It's something that I don't feel like is fun to, sorry. I just don't feel like it's something, like, I don't personally like doing it, because, like, this isn't nothing. This is nothing. It's not gonna, you're not gonna be entertained by watching this, probably. Or maybe you will. But I just don't find it professional to have a gameplay in the background where the gameplay in the background just randomly cuts or randomly stops because I'm doing a topic. Since we got that out of the way, let's get straight into breaking down the groups. I will be going over who I think makes them out, two teams that makes out the pool, and also what I think. Oh, sorry. Also, what pool I think is the pool of death, or the best pool for champs. So let's get straight into it. Pool A, they're called groups, but pool group, I'll be going through both probably throughout the video. Group A, we have Team Caliber, Epsilon, Heretics, and Lightning Pandas. Now, in my personal opinion, this is one of the hardest groups to determine, because I think there are 3 teams that are making out of this group, or 3 teams that could make it out of this group without question. So let's start with the obvious answer of Epsilon not making it out. I'm sorry. This is the obvious answer, and I think it's obvious for a couple reasons. One, obviously they're just not a good team, and 2, they don't have confidence in themselves. Like they still don't have that confidence in themselves. And obviously they got to win in the division, but I don't think that they are ready and capable to play at champs. I don't think they're gonna make any moves. I don't think there's a chance at all that Epsilon make it out of this pool. I think they will be going 0-3. TK. Sorry. TK, Heretics, Lightning Pandas. Now, the obvious one to make it out is TK, considering they just won Season 2, but they do have a weakness, and their weakness is Enable and S&D right now. That is their weakness. They are a very, very strong team, but they do have some flaws. They do have some flaws that could hinder them. Now, do I think Heretics and Lightning can beat TK? No. I don't think they can. If I had to bet money on a team to make it out of this pool, I would bet TK, and I'm going to take TK. TK can make you a 3-0 out of this pool. I apologize for all the odds. But when it comes to the second spot, though, and the second team to make it out, this gets very hard. Lightning Pandas is clearly the second best team not in the Pro League. Easily. But last chance qualifier, they struggled against 3 teams. three teams. Obviously, they won 2 of the games, but they struggled. Lightning Pandas looked very weak and very beatable. We almost had Nagafin's team coming into this. You know, we were so close to seeing Nagafin at Champs again, at DL Fire at Champs again. I think that if it comes down to it, which I think it will, I think it'll be a 1-1 series tie between FaZe. A 1-1 series tie between Heretics and Lightning Pandas, and I think they want to face each other, and I think Heretics come out on top. I think Heretics is actually very overlooked. Now, some may say they're overrated. I don't think they're overrated in the slightest. I think they are. They're obviously the best Spanish team, and I think they're one of the top international teams. I really do think that this team would have done well in the Pro League. Definitely not made playoffs, not at all, but I think they could have got a 6 seed. I truly do think so. This team looks like they could have beat Envy. This team looks like they could have beat Splice. This team looks very good, especially with Methods and Journey. Even Lucky. And everybody on this team is good. So, for Group A, I am taking Team Caliber at 1, Heretics at 2, Lightning Pandas at 3, and Epsilon at 4, which means TK and Heretics will move on to the bracket play. Group 2 is Rise Nation, Tainted Minds, Lethal Gaming, and Brash. Okay. Obvious part of this group. Rise Nation is 100% making out. They're making out. This is the most clear-cut team to make it out. 100%. Good. I apologize for John's. Something I just can't control. But I 100% think they're making it out. There's no doubt in my mind. They're 3-0ing. They might not even lose a map. I don't think there's a team that can take a map off from this pool. Now on the second spot, though. This is something that's very interesting. You have 2 SND dominant teams and a very young international European team. Now, Brash has TD Dillon. TD Dillon is looked at as the next up-and-coming EU player. He is looked at as a very skillful player that took down Tojo, or however you pronounce it, from Giants. Oh, no, Lethal did that. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. But Dylan's team took out an NA team, I forget who. But Dylan was looked at, and people did say this, Dylan was looked at as the best player at Last Chance Qualifier. The best player, not best team, not Brash. No, Dylan was looked at as the best player at Last Chance Qualifier. And I didn't watch many of Brash's games. I watched maybe like 2 maps. But I did see highlights. And this kid is insane. He is very insane. He seems very intelligent for how young he looks. I do think this team has a chance. But this pool is very hard to call. Because then you have Lethal Gaming. Lethal Gaming is a team with Teddy Rex, Ramby, Super, and Zapdos. This team, if they win a hard point against any of these teams, which they won't take a hard point off of Rise, if they take a hard point off of Tainted, you know how hard it is going to be to win that series? If they beat Tainted in a hard point, granted Tainted's a great S&D team, but these guys literally live, breathe S&D for half their careers. They literally only played S&D for a good chunk of their careers. And now they're just getting into comp. They won't lose an S&D. Brash will lose their S&D to them. Tainted will lose their S&D to them. So I do think Lethal could come out of this pool. But it all is reliant on the first hard point. If Tainted, or if Lethal take a first hard point against any of the teams, except Rise, so let's be honest, except Rise, I truly do think that Lethal can make it out with a 2-1. But then there's Tainted. Tainted was the worst team in Division B, but They are fighters. They are fighters, and let's be honest, they looked very good. They looked very, very, very good for being the worst team in the division. They were very strong. They didn't give up on matches, and fuck, they beat Optic Gaming in a game 5. Another great team of SND. If they take a hard point on you, they can easily go 2-0. But again, you have another great SND team in this group. So it really the first hard point matters a lot in this group when it comes down to Brash, Tainted, and Lethal. But at the end of it all, the team that I suspect to make it out, the team that I hope makes it out, is Tainted. I think this team is ready to go into bracket play again. I think this team has learned from a lot of their mistakes. I think this team, having its pro team experience, facing pro teams for the past month and a half, I think this helps them. This helped them a lot, and I think this is going to help them beat these AM teams because they know what mistakes they're going to make. The SND, obviously, if Lethal could come out in 3-0 Tainted, you never know. But I do think the hard point Tainted is going to sweep. I think the hard point is going to be a destruction. I think Tainted will beat Lethal 3-1. So I have Rise Nation coming out at 1, Tainted at 2, Brash at 3, and Lethal at 4. 3 and 4 don't really matter, but I just think it's how it's going to go. And then, so the 2 teams coming out, I think, will be Rise Nation and Tainted Minds. Group C. This one's very interesting. It is Red Reserve, Mind Freak, Ghost Gaming, and Zone GG. Now, okay. Red Reserve is clearly making out of this too. It's like Rise Nation. There's no way they're not making out of this pool. It's just, it's too easy for them. We're not putting anything against or degrading any team, but let's be real. They're the second best, third best, second best, first best team in the league. They're not losing a map. They're not losing a series. But this is where it gets interesting. Ghost Gaming, I have getting top 8 at champs, so I think they're making it out. But let me give my reasoning. I think Mind Freak is a very good team. I'm upset they got put into this group. I wish they got put into Tainted group. No offense to Tainted, because they're not making it out. Mind Freak will not make it out. I think Ghost Gaming is a top 12 team in the game. Now, that is saying something. That is saying something. Maybe not top 12, top 16. I think they are a top 16 team in the game. And, again, it sounds fucking crazy to say this, because there are 16 Pro League teams, and they are not one of them. I think they're better than Epsilon. I think they're better than Tainted. I think they're better than Mind Freak. I think they're better than Splice. I think they're better than Envy. I don't think they're better than EG. But, I think they're better than all those teams. 100%. I think they're better than all those teams. They could potentially be a top... They could potentially... If they were put into any division, they could potentially have gotten to a playoff spot. I think this team is very underlooked when it comes to going into champs. Not underlooked, but a team that a lot of people think, oh, okay, they'll get top 16. No, I think they could get top 8. I think they could get top 8, 5th, you never know. I really think this team has a strong way of making out, but they're not beating Red. Not beating Red. They're definitely not getting first. They're definitely not getting second. They're not going past 6th place, I don't think. 6th, 7th. Or, yeah. No. 5th, 6th. They're not getting past 5th, 6th. They're either in 5th, 6th, or, I think top 12 at least. So, Red's making it out, Ghost making it out, Mind Freak, so, I'm sorry. Red Reserve, I have coming out at 1, Ghost, having come out at 2, Mind Freak at 3, and Zone GG at 4, which means Red Reserve and Ghost Gaming will be coming out of this group. Now, Zone GG is want to, let you guys know who's on this team. It's Cammy, Endura, Defrag, and Bids. This is a great team. I think one of the better teams coming out of last chance qualifier loser side. But I just don't think they have the firepower to beat Ghost or Mind Freak to get out. Moving on to Group D. This is interesting. So this is E United, Splice, EZG, and Sween. E United is making it out. I think E United is a top 4 team in the game right now. I think they finally have met their, or they've gotten to their prime. I think they've definitely gotten to their prime. Clayster is now COD Champs Clayster. He's going to turn up a chance. He's going to be one of the best players at the event. And Persini and Fellow are finally matching well together, and it's helping them a lot. RC is obviously a beast. They're making it out 3-0. This gets interesting. We have Splice. Splice is a very up and down team. Splice, I've gotten second at 2 tournaments this year. So they've made it to 2 grand finals. Birmingham and one of the first ones. I think the first one TK won. Which I forget what that was. I completely forget what that was. So, can they make it out? Well, they lost Tommy, but can they make it out? Absolutely. But they're very streaky. They could lose to anybody. I think, what group were they? Were they in the one with Tainted or the one with Mind Freak? They were in the one with Mind Freak. I think Mind Freak might have beat them once. Maybe? Oh no, Mind Freak and Tainted were in the same group. Oh yeah, I do remember that actually. Who was with Splice? I know Envy was. Epsilon and someone else. I'm sorry, I forget this. But I do think Splice, I think likely they will make it out. But let's look at EZG and Sween. Maybe they can change my minds. Robbie B, Parzillion, Artura, Apox. That's a strong team, and they looked very good at last chance qualifier, surprisingly. No offense to them, but it doesn't seem like a team I put money on. But then there's Sween. Sween is a veteran EU team. Veteran. PD, Quicker, Moose, and Weenie. But I think Splice is making it out. I think Josh is going to turn into BO3 Josh. I think Bance is going to turn back into his prime. Jerd is going to be consistent the whole event. I think Madcat's going to show up as well. So with this being said, I think EU is making it out, Splice is making it out, EZG and the Sween are not. Moving on, we have Group E. This is the pool of death. This is the pool that I mentioned earlier that I was saying is the pool of death. This is the pool of death. I believe any one of these teams can make it out. Anyone. I'm dead serious. Anyone. FaZe, Complexity, E6, Moratory. Let's get the roster here. FaZe is Replays, Attach, Zoom, and Priesta. Complexity is Sensor, Dashy, Blast, and Ricky. E6 is General, Abizi, Sender, and Diabolic. And Moratory is Nova, Mayhem, Phantoms, and Spoof. The Moratory team is essentially the GGEA Orange team that, you know, everybody thought was really, really good. They drop Believe and pick up Phantoms. So, you know, a little bit of a roster change, but the core 3 is still there. Now, the obvious answer is to say FaZe is making it out. That's the obvious one, but who really knows? Because really think about it. FaZe is a great team. They beat Optic. They beat Optic, and then went down to losers at Season 1. I forget who they lost to. But they're a great team, have the potential to be a top 4 team in the league, but it takes a lot, it takes time for them to heat up. It does take time for them to heat up, and I'm saying that they're not getting first in the pool, but they're making it out. Yes, you heard that right. They're making it out, but they're not getting it first. I think they're getting it second at 2-1, and they be a tiebreaker between a team, because I think Complexity or E6, I don't think Moratory is making it out. I think they're going to be the team that goes 0-3. They're very good, but I think I think E6 is going to have their number, and Complexity will have their number. I think it's going to come down to Complexity and And looking at those teams are very, very skillful. They're very, very talented. They're not a team that anybody's going to take lightly going into champs. But if I'm looking at teams from last chance qualifier in the Pro League, Doug's complexity looked insane. They looked like they were on their prime. Dashi was becoming a top player again. Sensor was finally being that presence that he's been not wanting, but has needed to be for a long time now. He's now finally having that what's the word I'm trying to say here? He's finally finding that consistency that he needs to help his team get to the finals of a tournament, possibly finals, or at least a top, at least like a top run in the game. But then there's E6, which you could say the exact same thing about, except making it to the grand finals, because they have little to no pro player experience besides general. Now, obviously, Sender and Abalak have faced against pro teams. I mean, they got second at Stage 2 finals in BO3, which is amazing considering they had Killer on the team, which is mind-blowing to me that still happened. But that's long ago. They're great players. I think they're going to give FaZe a run for their money. I think Complexity is going to make it out at 3-0, and I think FaZe will be second at 2-1 with E6 just falling to FaZe in probably a Game 5. So I have Complexity making it out at first, FaZe making it out at second, E6 not making it out at third, and Moratory coming in at fourth. Now, Group F. Group F has Unilad, Team Envious, Les Bleus, and Mentality. I think this one's pretty easy, in my opinion. I'm not gonna spend much time on this. I think it's gonna be Unilad, obviously. I think it's gonna be Envy. Les Bleus is a really good team, but I don't think they have a chance of making it out. I think Envy just... Unilad is definitely making it. Unilad's the top 16 in the game. They're not making it out. There's no way. Mentality's good, but they won't take it. I think they're gonna be the 0-3 team here. Les Bleus will beat Mentality, but Les Bleus will fall to Envy and Unilad. I think that Envy, a lot of people are giving crap to Envy, thinking they're a terrible team. They're not a terrible team. They have potential. They have an MVP. They have an MVP on their team. They have Classic, who has been a very consistent player throughout the years in COD history. Hugh, who is finally finding his stride, and Decimate, who's one of the top 3 prospects this year. Top 4, top 5. I don't think this team will do anything at champs. I think they'll make it out of their group and then get top 16. But I don't think there's any way Envy isn't going to make it out. I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. I think it's pretty easy that Envy will make it out, and so will Unilad. So I'm taking Unilad at 1, Envy at 2, Les Bleus at 3, and then Mentality at 4. On to Group H. Group H will be Echo Fox, Luminosity, Vitality, and Havoc. I just want to give you guys Team Vitality and Havoc's rosters. You probably know Echo and Luminosity's. Team Vitality's Tommy, Denza, Chain, and Maple. The Tommy that I just said is the Tommy from Splice. Well, it used to be from Splice. Yes, it is that Tommy. And Havoc is Fastball Up, BZ, Remy, and Emeralds. I'm saying it right now, Havoc is going to be the 0-3 team in this pool. Somebody has to be it, and I think it's going to be them. Now, I don't think that there is a guaranteed first place team in this pool. I don't think there is, and honestly, I think this pool can go 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, tied 2-1 3 ways. So what I mean by that is, each team gets a win on Havoc, so they will each be 1-0. So let's just put it like that. And then, let's say, Vitality beats Luminosity, they're 2-0. Echo beats Vitality, they're 2-1. Luminosity beats Vitality. Well, okay, yeah, Luminosity beats Vitality. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm being screwed. So each team is 1-0. Vitality beats Echo. They're 2-0. Luminosity beats Vitality. They're 2-1. Echo beats Luminosity. They're 2-1, and then Luminosity would be 2-1. So it's essentially each team trades out, which will then come down to map count. You know, obviously which team beat who. So if you have a team that went, lost, like they went to like every map of Game 5, they're probably not going to make it out to a team that beat every game 3-0 at 2-1. So they're probably going to make it out over them. Which I think this pool is going to happen like that because Echo Fox, good team, but not consistent. They're not consistent. They're not a consistent team. They can be very hot, they can be very cold. It all depends on how consistent Vicento and Aqua will be, but this is champs. For some reason, for the past 3 years, they've been really good at champs. Vicento and Aqua. Obviously, BO3, or AW, we know about that story. BO3, they get top 3, or top 4. And then, moving on into IW, they surprised everybody to get top 4. Oh no, they got third at BO3, I do believe. Yes, I do believe they got third because it goes 2, 3, 4 for Aqua and Vicento. So it's very possible they could just destroy the competition and somehow make it the grand final. You never know. But this team is still very inconsistent. Temp, first year going to COD champs, hasn't really found his is a complete play style yet as a player. Just coming back to compete, not even for a year now, as a pro level. And then obviously Saints, who's very consistent, but never really made a deep run at champs, except for third place last year, I do believe. Which is great, but no grand finals. So I think this team could get out very easily, but again, it comes down to a lot of things. Now we have Luminosity. Luminosity has the potential to be a top 4 team, top 3 team, top 2 team in the league, but we haven't seen that Luminosity. We have not seen that Luminosity. Even at Anaheim, when they got top 3, that wasn't like the prime Luminosity we should be seeing. I mean, Luminosity was on the brink of being the best team in the game, next to Rise Nation, before Octane left. So literally, they went from being a contender to now being a team that didn't make the playoffs, and now who knows what they're going to look like. I do think they are getting first in this group. I think they're getting first in this group, and I look at Tommy's team, and the team is terrible. Not terrible. They're really good players. I've never heard of them, though. I've never heard of them. But I can't count out Tommy. I look at this pool, and I see Tommy upsetting Echo or Luminosity. I see Luminosity coming out of the 2-1 tiebreaker between 3 of them, and I see Vitality. So at 1, I have Luminosity, 2, I have Vitality, and 3, I have Echo, and 4, I have Havoc. Group H, Optic Gaming, Evil Geniuses, Elevate, and Supremacy. Right off the bat, Supremacy's going 0-3. I don't think they're winning a map, probably. I think it's going to be like the Epsilon. I mean, good players, but better teams in this pool than them. So, let me get into it. You can probably tell that my voice is very ecstatic for this pool, and I think it's for good reasoning. This pool, yeah, my voice is really ecstatic. You can probably tell. I really enjoy this pool because it has Aches and Optic in it. So let me tell you why this is interesting. Optic is terrible at S&D. Worst S&D team in the Pro League, probably. Worse than Epsilon. Epsilon could take an S&D off of them. So, what is Optic's weakness then? Obviously S&D, but if they lose game 1 hardpoint, if they lose the first hardpoint, oh, my apologies. If they lose the first hardpoint, they're done. They're done. They're gonna go down 2-0 in the series, and even if they try and do a reverse sweep, they're gonna make it S&D and probably lose again. If they keep this form, they are gonna be so. They're gonna be so. It's gonna be such a risk in the first hardpoint. The first hardpoint would determine the series for Optic Gaming. Obviously, you think they make it out, but this is a team that tore up Division B and got last place in playoffs. Anything could happen with this team. And it all comes down to the hard points. Well, all comes down to S&Ds, but if any team in this group takes a hard point, it's over for them. It's completely over. You go 2-0 up against Optic Gaming, you're going into a hard point, being 2-0 up, okay, so you lose that. Every team that's beaten Optic Gaming, most of the time, wins the S&Ds and the CCF. Or 1 hard point, 2 S&Ds. That's just how it is when you defeat Optic. So, let me get into my scenarios. There's 2 scenarios I think that's going to happen. Optic makes it out, Optic doesn't make it out. Optic obviously doesn't get out, and Optic gets second. I think what could happen, I think what will happen is EG will face Optic. EG will be up 2-0, Optic will be up 2-0. It'll be the last game. You know, they're both in. This is just to see who gets first. And I think that Aches is going to pull something out of his ass because it's like he's against Optic Gaming. He's going to 3-0 them. His team's going to go up 3-0, or his team's going to go 3-0 in the pool. We're going to make it out. Optic Gaming will become second because it is Aches. It's bound to happen. I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's Aches versus Optic. He's going to beat them. I just think it's going to happen. Now, this is the more interesting one. I had Optic coming out, but now Optic won't come out. This is the second scenario that I think could happen. So, like I said, if you take a hard point off of Optic, the first hard point for most likely, you are essentially going to win the series because of how bad their S&D is. I have a scenario that could happen that would literally be insane. So let's say Optic beats Supremacy, right? They go up 1-0, you know, it's an easy game. They come to EG. EG demolishes them, puts them in the grave, right? Puts them to the ground. EG wins, EG goes up, let's say they go 3-0, like I said. And then Optic Gaming faces Elevate. Optic lost to EG, or Elevate lost to EG, they beat Supremacy. They are now 2-1. They are now 2-1. Or 1-1, sorry. They are now 1-1. Whichever team wins the Elevate Optic game gets out. Whichever team loses goes home. Well, not home, they have to face for money purposes, but they're not getting... There's no way they're getting top 16, which is what matters. So, Optic just come off a 3-0 loss to Elevate. They look weak. Elevate knows this. Elevate comes out strong, takes game 1 hardpoint. They have the players to do it. They not 3-0 probably, but say game 5, they take the hardpoint, they take the S&D. Optic tries to reverse sweep, but loses in a game 5 S&D and does not even make it to bracket play. That is my second scenario. To be completely honest, I don't know which scenario will happen. So I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to leave it as it is, what I just said. One of those 2 scenarios, that's what I think is going to happen. So that will be the groups for today, guys. That'll be my predictions and the breakdown of the Call of Duty Championships 2018 groups. Thank you guys so much for watching this new series of mine. There will be more videos for the breakdown series soon to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this, please leave a comment. I would love some I would love your guys' opinion on this new series and just my the topic I just talked about, which was the groups. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next chapter.